up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to Don't Say the F Word, Pro Wrestling and Combat Sports Podcast, where we do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. Shouldn't let your friends use it either. Today, it's a very special day. We have two Jeremys on the show. Myself, Jeremy, and Jeremy the Pitbull Smith from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships. Jeremy, how are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing good, and you, bro? How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
Thanks for having me. First of all, thanks for having me on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Man, we appreciate you being here. It's always great to talk to someone out there just living the grind of being a fighter and helping bring bare knuckle to the mainstream. It's growing so fast and so rapidly with BKFC and its availability.
It's insane how fast this goes. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. Like, there's so many events just this year. Like, you just competed on December 3rd, and that was BKFC 34.
Yeah.
And then that was just followed up with on Christmas Day with BKFC Knucklemania.
I don't know if it was Christmas Day, but it was just before.
Was it right before it? It was. Yeah, it was just. Yeah, that may have been Christmas Eve. But then, so they have all their numbered events, and then they work in special events.
And show the lines as well. The smaller events, the numbered events, and then the big.
Yeah, they are just growing and putting out so many events. It's really crazy. Currently, I had to switch the studio up a little bit, so I have a TV on the other side of the room here, and I currently have BKFC 27 playing. I figured they'd be a little upset if it was playing behind me during our interview, but I have MVP versus Mike Perry because
that was in the UK.
BKFC just put out their of the year awards, and this fight got Fight of the Year.
Yep.
And I was thinking, like, I don't remember if I watched this entire fight. Like, I feel like I know I seen the end. I know I seen the highlight. Like, did I watch this entire thing? And I'm like, no, I watched the entire thing, and this fight was incredible. This thing was nuts.
But you know what the thing is? That fight was amazing, but there's been so many fights. Every show you watch, there's incredible fights. So it's really is. You kind of, so it's not like you forget about it, but you're like, wow, that's the best one. And when you go back and watch, like, okay, that is why that was the best one.
Yeah.
There's so many good fights, good knockouts. The fans are loving it as well.
And it's so much skill and it's not to say there's not skill in other combat sports. So my love of combat sports is crazy. So,
different skill.
Yep. So I did some MMA, not high level by any means. I trained in shoot fighting under Bart Vale, under Mike Dancool, a little bit of training with Fujiwara way back in like 04, 05, a lot of training seminars with Fujiwara. So a lot of my training was it was shoot fight. So we're doing some MMA training, we're doing legitimate grappling, but there's a little bit of a work of the pro wrestling element and kind of a lot of what we're doing. Okay. I did some amateur stuff, a lot of unsanctioned things, and it's funny because I watch bare knuckle now, and I talk to people who were my friends back whenever I was doing MMA and doing those things, and I talk about bare knuckle, and my friends who 2005 they didn't know what the UFC was. We're talking before Stephan Bonner and RIP to Stephan Bonner and Forrest Griffin, before it blew up and it was huge. A lot of people didn't know MMA, didn't know what it was. It was cage fighting. I see bare knuckle being that today because a good buddy of mine, and I knew him whenever I fought. I talked to him about bare knuckle, and he thinks you guys are nuts for doing bare knuckle, but he loves the UFC. I'm like,
but that's what everybody says. Even the UFC fighters, like a lot of them will say, that's just crazy. You're not doing that. But a lot of them, the boxers say, oh, we're not doing that, we're not doing this. But it's all combat sports. So.
Yeah, there's so many layers to combat sports in general, and like I feel like MMA is the hybrid of kind of everything.
MMA is everything. That's why it's called mixed martial art. They're everything together. The most purest form of everything. Like it's not just hands, it's legs, it's elbows, it's knees. Yeah, like especially in the older UFC when there was soccer kicks and stomps and all of that, so everything was allowed.
Or like Pride rules. Days of Pride, man. Those soccer kicks and Pride.
Pride was insane, bro. Pride was violent.
Yeah, you had Shogun Hua just punting dudes
Vanderlei
right
Silva.
Yeah, Vanderlei.
Vanderlei Silva stomping people out.
Man, Vanderlei in Pride was a whole different thing.
Oh, no, he was
like,
insane. Yeah.
that was his style, his aggression was something I tried to model. I tried to pretend in my head that I could be Vanderlei Silva, like, because it was so much aggression, and it was just.
Him and Fedor. Fedor was also insane.
Fedor was so great. Those two were such polar opposites. You had Vanderlei with that aggression from the weigh-ins to the stare down, and Fedor was just cool.
When he used that thing with his hands like that, just stare you down, and Fedor
that wrist roll.
Yeah. Fedor just did, whatever. Just another day.
So, your combat sports career started. You're originally from South Africa.
Yes, correct. So I started off with Muay Thai boxing.
Okay.
So that started when I was about 18. I've had my first fight like time. I had a couple amateur fights. I won the South African amateur title for kickboxing and Thai boxing. And then I turned professional for K1 Thai boxing. I had 10 fights, 9 knockouts, 2 losses. Then I went over to the MMA. I had 11 fights, 9 finishes, and then I had 7 losses. And I was the champion of Africa. I fought for BKFC Africa. Also fought for XFC in Tampa. First Africans to come over and fight in the MMA in the country that had been based in South Africa. So I was actually one of the first to actually win a fight back in 2010. So now you won a contract. They sent an American guy over. I fought at the XFC in South Africa. I won the contract, and I came over and I fought Jack. And then I changed. I went to the EFC organization, and then I became champion there. And then I started fighting for Brave Combat Federation. So that's owned by the Sheikh Khalid, the Prince of Bahrain. I fought in Bahrain. I fought in Jordan. I fought in Brazil. I fought in South Africa as well. So yeah, got to cover around a bit. And then I came here. I immigrated to the States last year, January. And obviously I was chatting to some people about doing the bare knuckle. So I came over here and I started with the bare knuckle. And I've always loved boxing. I've always been good at boxing. My hands are what I'm really good with. So I focused a lot on that. Through my whole training camp, through my whole fighting career, I've always focused on my hands. With the Thai boxing, it's like you punch the guys, they don't kick you out. So it's the same sort of thing. So I always use that. So for me to transition over was quite a natural transition. It was good. So yeah. Then now I'm doing the BKFC. So I had one fight for BYB, and I had a stoppage because I got cut. So they stopped. It wasn't that bad, but it was, I guess, whatever the doctor said. And then I swapped over to BKFC, and I'm 3-0 in BKFC. 3 wins, 2 knockouts.
That BYB fight, that cut was a nasty cut.
Yeah.
That fight, that triangle ring.
It didn't even hit me properly. He just skimmed my eyebrow, and it just I've got a lot of scratches fighting, and it just opened up right down here. As you can see, split there and there. But this isn't shaved. This is a scar. I don't shave my eyebrows. This is also a scar that's from a Muay Thai fight. That's from my knee. So this is when I was 23. It was.
So you earned that style. It wasn't.
Yeah. I didn't. That's not
doing that for you.
My barber didn't cut that.
That triangle ring. What they call it, a trigon? I think.
Trigon.
The angles of that ring had to have really. You had to have thought about your footwork in there. Did you try to simulate that at all through your training camp?
Yeah, of course you have to. You cut the ring in half and you have to use a triangle because you got to get used to it. It's a bit difficult because you kind of just use a rope, so you got to get used to that. But I didn't really get to utilize or to experience it that long because the fight was, I think, stopped in protect. It wasn't a bad cut. It was a nasty cut, but it just, you know what, I wiped it and then I wiped it again and the rest stopped it. But it's like bare knuckle, we bleed. It's supposed to happen.
Yeah, you're going to get
but
cut.
Anyway,
there's no avoiding that.
Whatever. Yeah, exactly. So it happened, whatever. But then I swapped over to the BKFC and doing well there. I prefer it.
Yeah, you're 3-0 in BKFC.
Yeah.
And I mean, the 3 fights you've had have all been fantastic fights against very skilled opponents. And I look at your fight against you fought Green, and he was significantly taller than you. Had a heck of a reach.
And
you still stopped him with that overhand left.
Well, yeah, I got inside and I hit the body, and then I hit him a short left. Hit the body.
Yeah, and you talk about your boxing training, how much you love boxing and utilizing your hands, and it really showed in that fight how you got inside, you worked his body.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the MO and everything at BKFC. You've had 3 opponents and you've destroyed their body all three fights.
You kill the body and the head dies.
Yeah, that's
and
for
also
sure.
You don't break your hands on his body. You break your hands on his head.
So that's one of the things I want to talk to you about too is in BKFC. I mean, people talk about how they got MVP and Mike Perry up here. And people talk about how they feel like it's like so crazy, no gloves, like the risk there. And I'm like, I kind of feel like it's really safer overall from the stance of concussions and breakdown, because you're not going to be able to hit as hard. Like I've known guys, and I've been in fights where guys, even with MMA gloves, have been able to broke their hand.
I broke my hand with the MMA glove and wrap. Broke my hand.
Yeah.
I broke my hand with 16-ounce gloves in sparring. I hit the guy on my elbow. It's gonna happen whether you got the glove on or not. It really doesn't make much difference. Yes, there's more chance of breaking it with no glove, obviously, but there's more chance of just a lot more swelling, cracking your knuckles. That's also, you got to keep your head down. If you hit the guy in the head, it's gonna hurt. You got to watch the elbows.
Keep your chin tucked and hopefully he hits you in the forehead and bangs his hand up pretty good.
Exactly, and then he doesn't want to throw that hand as hard again. So that's a good tactic.
And your fight with Sanchez, your second fight, BKFC, the commentary for that, have you watched that fight back with the full commentary and listened? So they talked a lot about his experience, and I think, what did he have in that fight? Something like 73
85
MMA fights?
85. Yeah,
like
in the 80s. If I added all my combat sports together, I'm on 53, I think, or 54. 54. I'm on 54, including amateur. So he, I think, I was going into that fight at 53rd fight. And that was his 85th or something like that, top 5, everything as well. So he had a lot of experience. But he'd also been off for a little while, so I thought, take the pressure on it. He'd been off 2 years, I think. But a great combatant. A great fighter. He fought for Bellator. He's from New Mexico. He sold out that whole arena in New Mexico. The whole stadium.
Yeah, you went to his hometown and beat him up.
Yep. And also I knew that altitude, New Mexico is high, but I knew what to expect. So where I'm from, Johannesburg, originally, we have a high altitude as well. So I've had training camps in Florida, gone back, and I'm like, oh shit. Because we don't focus as much you focus on the cardio, but you think you're fit until you get back to boxes. So that's why I knew when I was going there, I knew I had to burn my lungs up a lot in the training. I was doing a lot of cardio, a lot more. Well, I always do a lot of cardio, but I was literally killing it. So I knew when I got there, I'd be fresh. I'd be good.
Yeah, that fight, it was interesting. The commentary as you came out, they talked about a bully style, and they meant it as a compliment. And I watched that fight. I see you pick apart his body and land these combos, and the way you came
also makes you tired, makes him slow. Break the body down. It's also going to make it fair, because now the fitness level is going to drop. The more you work the body, the more slower and tired they get.
And whenever I watch it, you hear bully style. It's usually a guy who works in tight, gets the clinch, or bullies a guy against the ropes. And you kept your composure through that entire fight. And even toward the end of the second round, 30 seconds, 25 seconds left, I felt like you cracked him with that left, and you rocked him, and you didn't go in for the kill. You stayed calm and cool and collected, and just continued the game plan of just punishing him throughout that fight. I got
to thank Ryan Perez, my trainer, Ryan Perez from Slaughterhouse. He we stick to the game plan. They call him the BKFC cheat code for a reason. Like even those last fights, if you look at that, like I was chasing the guy in the first round instead of cutting the ring. He said, "What do you think?" Cut the ring off. Started cutting the ring off. End of round 2, he said, "You're down 2. You got to win this round. Get inside there." And there's a whole video about it. It did quite well on the BKFC. So it's like get inside there, make it dirty, make it a dogfight. The guy's quicker than you. He's hitting you and he's moving. He's not there when you punch back. So get inside there. Fucking make it ugly. So, and that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I love that they shared the video and the audio of him giving you that advice, that direction. So often in combat sports, you'll see a guy, he's in his corner, and the advice that his corner is giving him is useless. They're just trying to hype him up, and it's nothing about the game of chess that he's playing. Nope. It's always go out there and kill him. That was the intention whenever you came out to the ring. That's what you were trying to do. Like,
it's like whatever. But tell the guy punch him in the face. It's like no, do this, do that. You got to be basic. And he also knows how to talk to me. So he's not like he knows me because we worked a while together. So he's also like he's not going to get all fancy. Like just do this, do this, do this. That's it. And he knows how to tell me what to do, and I'm like, okay, and I execute. I listen.
Yeah, such quality advice, and your ability to, in that moment, all the adrenaline going, be able to process the information given to you from your corner and execute it exactly. Like that's quality training. That's impeccable. Like, I mean, you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah,
you've been in combat for a long time.
Almost 10 years. I'm 38 now, started when I was 18. So.
Back home in Johannesburg, how are things different? And not just in combat sports in general, your training versus the States, the opportunity there. Like you had the EFC there, and you were the champion of Africa. And how are things different with your training? As many opportunities, as many training partners there as you're finding in the States?
You've got a lot more people to train with. You have a higher population. That's just how it is. And especially being in Florida, this is fighting capital of America, basically. This place, Albuquerque and Vegas, California, like the places for fight. But there's a lot of people to train with. So you're limited with your training partners back home. So you go to a gym, you got 10 guys. You go to a gym here, you got 20, 30 people to train. So if you're looking for a guy who's got that style, you'll find it. Back home, you got to mimic the people a bit more. Yeah, you'll find someone who's got a similar style.
So, before we hit record, we talked a little about your time back in Johannesburg of doing some bodyguard work. So, we're a pro wrestling podcast, so you had an opportunity to be a bodyguard for some pro wrestlers?
Yes, I was so a friend of mine used to run a lot of security for events. So 50 Cent, when he came, bodyguarded his bodyguards. Never got to meet him, but we looked after the bodyguards. He had his crew that looked after him, and we kind of looked after bodyguards basically. No one actually met him. He was just him out there. Same as with John Cena and Randy Orton. They came with a bunch of other guys. We got to look after them a bit. Basically, we got to keep the people away from them. They can go to the gym. They want to train. They don't want to get mobbed and sign a million autographs. They want to do it with post. So at the event, don't go there, go there. So that's what it's basically a bodyguard. They say a glorified sort of top thing, but we'd never give them anything. Just look after them, make sure nothing bad happened to them, or random fan didn't come up and attack them.
Right. That's got to be a cool experience. Just
it was cool. John Cena is such a focused guy. He takes it really professionally. He's very focused, keeps to himself. He just does his thing and just so. Some of the other guys, I can't remember who they were. They went out to a club and they started smashing tables and crazy. I don't know what wrestlers or what. I forgot the name. And we know all the owners, and the guys were like, "Listen, you got to get these guys out because they're gonna get fucked up." The security threw them out. They said, they're gonna get fucked up because it's different back home than it is here. So they would have literally fucked them up, but because we knew them, so they didn't. They didn't get. Yeah.
Thankfully, they got out of it before anything bad happened. Yeah. So you have a huge combat sports experience. You know, your resume is crazy. You got your kickboxing, the Muay Thai K1 fights. You have your MMA fights. Now you have 4 bare knuckle. You're 3-0 in BKFC. That's 3 BKFC fights in 2022. What are your goals for 2023? Looking to do another 3 fights in the calendar year?
Yeah,
maybe 4?
Definitely. Well, I did. So I fought last year December. So I did 4 in 12 months. So I would like to do another 3 at least this year. Get 3 in. If I can get more, then I'd love to. Like, obviously, I want to do as many as I can. I don't want to. I'm 38 now. I want to give another run at the BKFC. Turn up, we can go a little bit longer. So I'd like to just get as much fights as I can before. I'd like to get in 3 or 4 fights at least this year. Minimum 3.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, watching your fights, man, it's really crazy to see the transition, because I go back and, you know, the beauty of the internet, go back and watch, you know, fights from Africa and EFC and see the progression of your striking. Yeah. And it was top shelf then. And to see the modifications that you've made.
Well, the thing is, you got more time to just focus on boxing. You don't have to do the kicking or worry about the kicking, about this, about that. Your stance changes, you become more of a boxing stance. But then again, is you can't go too much boxing because you can't block with the gloves. So that's why I think the MMA guys, a lot of them have an advantage, because they're used to blocking with MMA gloves. And you've got to literally block more with the forearm. Where the boxer just does this. You got the glove and you can just hold against the ropes and do this, but you can't do that. Because this is wide open. You got to actually move your head. You got to block with your whole forearm instead of just sliding it up.
In BKFC, the ropes, they look really stable.
They don't move. They have no bounce.
I was thinking, I watched the fights, Mike. Those ropes look like they're just solid.
Yep, that's the solid rope. It's not moving. You can't rope it up. There's no give on it. No, there's no rope it up. There's no give on that rope. Even when you get in, it's got a lever that they push and click up, and then you get in and it closes again. So that's a solid metal, basically, with padding around.
So with the career focus being bare knuckle, your training being very boxing focused, do you spend much time grappling now, or just strictly specific to what you're going to be doing?
Not anymore. Obviously, the clinch work, because you're going to clinch in the knuckle. But that's second nature to me, because of Muay Thai. But no grappling. Obviously, you know what? You don't want to have some sort of injury for doing something that you're not going to get paid for.
Right.
And you know, things that happen. Things hurt in grappling. Things hurt in wrestling. That's the majority of injuries in MMA are from wrestling. Because wrestling is the most taxing in the body. It's shoulders, neck, hands, everything, knees. So when it comes to that, so I'd rather just, for now, I'm not getting paid to do it. I'd rather just not.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've known so many guys who, over the years, have had freak injuries in training, just rolling, nothing crazy going on.
Crazy,
just one guy rolls over on your knee and there goes your ACL.
Exactly. Yeah. Or you land, the tapping and you move the wrong way and pop your knee, pop your shoulder, something. Or you get taken down and you land funny. That's not it. I'd rather just focus on the boxing for now.
Makes sense. That's what's paying the bills now. So
exactly. I'm getting paid for this shit. I don't want to fucking break my finger or break my toe or something stupid. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it for now. I'll be I miss it sometimes, but I'm like, I'll split up. Whatever.
Ideally, how many more years of combat sports competing actively?
4 or 5. I feel good. I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, you look healthy, you're moving good.
I don't have any injuries, no action pains. Also, moving to sea level is much better, because Johannesburg is high altitude. The sea level makes you feel fresh and younger again. So, and obviously, I also own a nutrition store. So I'm in the shop the whole day. I'm eating healthy. I'm looking after myself. Back home, after a fight, I show 3 weeks, whatever. Because remember, I just fight. Yeah, it's straight away back into the training. And also, I know I only got X amount of time left. I'm straight away back into everything. I'm not, yeah, okay, cool, I'll take this one, do this, do that. Got straight away back in. I think more focused and less distractions. Also coming here, being by myself and stuff, I got a lot less distractions. Just focus. I came here literally just to focus.
Yeah, being able to kind of, I don't want to use the term isolate because that's just clearly associated with
really
COVID now. But I mean, be able to break away from distractions, and I always, you always see all the, top shelf UFC guys all this time in Vegas. Like, man, how can you focus on training? And
well, I know a lot of guys who went there.
So much going on. Like,
I knew a guy from back home. He went there, and he had a whole training camp planned out. I think he went to 3 training sessions. So, you know what I mean? There's obviously distraction. I've always been quite good at, like, when I come for training camp, I say, in my training camp, I did that, but obviously, things happen. I think I had more distractions back home than I did when I was up to the training camp.
So let's say you have a fight scheduled. How long is your training camp for bare knuckle versus, MMA? It's oftentimes a 6-8 week camp.
I'm staying fit. I'm staying ready. I'm staying sharp. I'm staying in the gym. Obviously, let's say I get cuts, I'm out of the gym, but I'm still training. I'm still going to do weights, cardio, that's the strength and conditioning I still do. But yeah, it depends on what weight category they want me to fight at. So if
I was going to ask, what's the weight class like for you? So what do you walk around
I've been doing
right
it for
now?
a long time. I used to do 220, 230, but now I've always fought 185. So now I keep it down around 210. Try not to blow up too much. That's why I like to get back in the gym as quick as possible after a fight, because otherwise I do tend to get a bit bigger. Keep the weight down. So I normally do like a 20 pounds, obviously 23 pounds, something like that.
That's not too bad.
Not bad. Sometimes I go up to 215. Sometimes I go up to about 215, but then I like to, when I'm coming down, I like to do a lot more of the weight cut in the beginning and then focus on the last little bit. But I'll sweat out 11 pounds. I don't mind skipping 10 pounds in the morning. Whatever, but I like to do about 8 normally. But it can be done, whatever. The most I've ever done is 17 in like 4 hours, but I died. I won, but that was in MMA. But yeah, that was skipping in a sweatsuit inside a sauna. The jump ropes on a suit inside a sauna. It was, yeah. And then the problem with that is you're cutting and everything's going well, and you got like a couple pounds left, and all of a sudden it doesn't come out. And you stop sweating, and you dry, and you sit in the sauna for 30 minutes, you come out and you've lost maybe half a pound. And it's like, fuck. Don't say the F word.
That's all right. The F word we don't say is a whole different F word.
Yeah, but now I try to keep my weight a bit. But I've learned how to do it over the years. I've been cutting weight for a long time. So I know how to.
Yeah, I mean, you've been cutting weight for fights your whole adult life. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Most people can't say that.
No. I've done lots of... sweated a lot of kilos out. That's for sure.
Yeah. Could you imagine trying to figure that math out of exactly how many kilos you've had to sweat out for a fight?
Nah, fuck that. Not a chance. Not a chance. I was thinking about it once. I'm like... And that's just doing the day of the weigh-in. If you just do the day of the weigh-in, that's so crazy. It's a lot.
Yeah. Where do you see bare knuckle going in 2023? I mean,
it's already going mainstream. It's going mainstream. Yeah. It's getting huge. It's growing day by day, let alone event by every show is bigger and better than the time before. More and more viewership. Sold out arenas pretty much every time, and like people trying to get tickets, they sold out.
Yeah, those arenas are packed.
I had people trying to get tickets from me like a week before, and I'm like, they sold out? So they're like, okay, we'll get on the internet. I'm like, there's nothing there. They're trying to get on the internet, they're like, it's all gone. I said, well, I told you, I warned you. I told you guys a month ago, book your seats now because the shit sells out, especially in Florida.
Yeah, do you think they're going to hit a lot of roadblocks throughout the rest of the states trying to get sanctioned?
Okay. you know what the thing is? How many states do they really need?
Yeah.
You don't need to be in every state.
Yeah, you don't gotta be everywhere. The UFC wants to be everywhere, but they don't need to be everywhere.
The UFC also had a lot of roadblocks getting into states as well. They only got to New York. How many years ago was that? Like, they didn't get to New York.
That wasn't too long ago. Like, it was pretty recent.
It wasn't that long ago at all. So they got Madison Square Garden. That took a long time to get to New York. They got it. I think with that, them setting, obviously breaking most of the states down, it won't be that difficult. And also remember, bare knuckle boxing was never made illegal. They just put gloves on to fight squad.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just trying to prolong it.
You got to re-sanctioning it. So, look, obviously it's politics. Yeah, that's shit.
Yeah.
But I don't see them having. Listen, like I said, how many states do you really need to be in all 50 states?
I mean, really, they honestly really need just one good flagship. You know, being in Florida and you broadcast and everywhere, it's a product tailor-made for TV.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have to be on the road.
I have a feeling TV's coming soon.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're doing, between the app, the BKFC app, and the promotion on Fight TV, you know, the Fight app, I mean, you can't log on and not see a BKFC event right there on the homepage. It's right there.
Yeah, there's an event like, shit, like 3-4 events in 1 month. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They're going insane. Like, it's really, and it's not just America, England, Thailand, and then, South Africa would be great too as well. We've got a great.
Yeah, it'd be great for you to get that.
We're busy in conversation.
Guy.
Yeah, well, I used to sell out arenas there, so yeah, that was a long way. Yeah. But we're busy with some those. Would be nice. Would be great.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, South Africa would be awesome.
I love the 2-minute rounds.
We are fighting nation. The 2-minute rounds are cool because you got that up, but you don't have time to catch your breath or pace yourself. You got it up.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's between a 2-minute and a 3-minute rounds are big difference. Right, it's that extra minute just times relative. That's how it's just a long time versus a short. That 2-minute round, it goes so quick.
Yeah, really. I mean, I couldn't imagine, that 2-minute round, because you guys it's full clip for 2 minutes. It's not like, and those people out there listening and watching this.
Look at my fight in Albuquerque. I think I threw 248 punches in 10 minutes. Something like that. It was like 250. So yeah, it's a lot of punches. 50 punches around. Punch every 2 seconds.
Yeah, and you hear a lot of MMA fans who maybe listening, maybe watching us, who think about UFC. They think about the things that sometimes fans may dislike, the clinching against the cage, the things that are kind of stalling, delay, and pray. All that's out the window in BKFC. It's 2 minutes of just action. It doesn't stop.
That's why the fans are loving it. Because
it's incredible.
And but like we're boxing where the guy just sits there and jabs and paddles around and walks around. And that is the fighting composure of the ring. It looks big, but it's a lot smaller than you think.
Really?
And also, you start 3 feet from each other.
Yeah, they start you guys right in the center.
Not that you start in the corners and you can walk to each other. That makes a huge difference because the guy comes straight at you. You got to move, or you got to set him, whatever. But like in MMA, you walk to each other. Same as in boxing, you go to meet each other. You don't get to wait on the side. You get to work the ring more. This way, you don't get that opportunity to set. And it's like we said, 2 minutes from the bat, you go. It's like a starting block. As the whistle goes, you go. Because you're in punching range.
Well, I've watched so many BKFC fights, and it's never registered with me that they start you guys out in the center. There's no room for error. Remember, it's that bell rings. It's
you
go
put
time.
Your hands up before that bell rings. You ready to go? You just waiting for that beep, and then you go.
Yeah.
Like I said, like starting blocks, like running. The minute that gun goes, you explode. Same as this. The minute that bell goes, you get used. float, or you move to the side, or you do something.
Shit, that's got to be intense.
It's true, I like it. But
what do you think of the current promotion of all the slap fighting events? I know that guys are out there making some money. I try to wrap my head around it. I want to talk to someone who's done it, because I think
it's
about
actually making a thing in South Africa. There's some guys doing it in South Africa as well. So I don't know, do they have weight categories, or how does it work?
So I guess the Power Slap League that the UFC is the parent company of, they're doing weight classes. I guess the original starting, there was no weight classes, just luck of the draw, and some dude who's 130 pounds could be getting knocked into the next dimension by a 280-pound gorilla like me. And I think about, like, in boxing and MMA and Muay Thai, you start off even with your opponent. It's the bell rings, you got to equal distance away from each other, and someone gets to be first, but you have to earn that right to be first. And look at slap fighting. Someone's getting slapped first, and there's nothing they can do about it. Like, I try to wrap my head around that as, like,
I don't know if I would do it.
Right? I don't think I could do it. I'm like, I don't think I could.
Have you seen that other one they do where they go over a table and they strap their hand together and they got an MMA glove and then they punch each other?
I have seen that.
And then the one guy starts kicking the other guy over the table.
Yeah. Have you seen the 5-on-5 MMA?
Yeah.
Have you seen that one?
The minute one guy gets knocked out, everybody else on that starts.
Yeah, like as soon as there is a numbers advantage, it's a wrap. You're not winning the numbers game.
That's terrible. Especially if they know what they're doing. That's the thing. If you get 5 guys who know what they're doing, like they can't get in the way of each other. But if you got 5 guys who know what they're doing,
yeah, I couldn't. You're in a 2-on-5 and everyone's trained killers. And those 2 guys are done. This is going to be bad.
Yep.
What's your time frame? When do you think your next fight will be, ideally?
End of February, March. Something like that.
Awesome.
So I'll basically start training camp properly. Tuesday, I guess. Tuesday, Wednesday. Obviously, New Year's now. So, obviously, we got guys.
Enjoy New Year's.
Yeah, whatever. I got just chilled. There's some guys fighting on the 14th of January. There's an event that I'm putting on at the Gulfstream. So it's going to be pretty cool, good event at Gulfstream down here in Florida, 14th of Jan. So that'll be a nice event. There's some good guys fighting on that. You got Brian fighting, Gaio, Brian Duran. You got Fames fighting. You got one or 2 other guys as well. I've got Rambo the Flair. So it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a boxing and very not cool event put on. So like a co-promotion type thing.
Oh, awesome! That's really cool.
Yeah, it's called There Will Be Blood or something like that. Blake Davis, his production company is involved, and then obviously my trainer Ryan Perez, he's helping with that. It's going to be a cool event. There's going to be a lot of like a boxing dance for the type things, so a lot of tables. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. 14th of Jan. So if anybody's around, it's going to be a good show. Some really good fights. It's going to be very nice. And everyone loves a boxing time.
Yeah.
You get some tables, you chill, you watch. It makes it more like an event type thing. Stadiums are cool, but like when you're sitting at like we do a lot of boxing dance back home. You get the food, you get the meals, and the drinks, and everything. You sit and you eat, you're watching the fights. It's entertaining.
Yeah, it's always that good sense of community.
Yeah, it's nice. I think it'll be a really good show to go out and watch.
Yeah, that sounds like a great time right there.
Yep.
So, where can the listeners find you? Social media?
Pitbull _Smith. Most active on social media, obviously Facebook as well, Jeremy Pitbull Smith. But Instagram, I think that's everyone uses that nowadays. It's a bit easier now. Everyone just does that.
Yeah. It's the spot right there, especially for guys in our age demo. It's difficult for us to stay up on TikTok.
Yeah. Even Instagram. I got somebody helping me with I'm learning it. So, yeah. But it's cool. You got to get with the times. Yeah. When I grew up, we didn't have that stuff. So we didn't have stuff like that.
Right. For the podcast, we have the TikTok, we have the Instagram, but my daughter had to give me a crash course on TikTok. So I'm like, I don't understand what the hell is going on, and I still don't. I don't know that I still get it.
No, I don't
put
know.
videos out, but I don't get it.
Yeah, I stick to the Instagram. I know that one is more important.
Any sponsors you need to you want to plug, man? Anything you got going
definitely. Think VP definitely. Pro Nutrition, Western, what I learned. 5 Volt, BD Construction, gotinjured.com for your injury lawyer needs. Anything really good finish. We got obviously KO Zone down in Miami. Slaughterhouse Management, Slaughterhouse Boxing. Brian Perez, thank you so much for the support. Spider News. Condemned Labs, the best supplements in the country. They're really good quality. And I don't just say that because I'm sponsored, but I actually use the stuff for up. So they're pretty cool. And
I've seen your post with them. I'm not just saying it. I use it.
Yeah, I actually use it. And then obviously Relief now, it's the laser therapy. I use a lot of that on my hands. It helps. If you look at my Instagram, there's a video there of me using it on the laser on my hands. It helps heal it up nicely. Just it gets deep inside, gets the inflammation down, nice blood flow and circulation. Sidewalk Chef also helps my diet. But I think VP and but I've been like having some good sponsors behind me.
Man, it's always good to have a good team behind you, man.
Yep, that's important. It is a one-on-one sport, but there's a team behind you. The team in the shadows, not even in the shadows of women. They make you ready. They prepare you.
Man. Well, man, I want to thank you for joining us. It's definitely appreciated. Cool. And we will definitely be supporting you as your next fight comes up. And we will be covering it here on Don't Say the F Word. So everybody out there listening can check out Don't Say the F Word podcast on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, even though I don't understand it, and we are the Don't Say the F Word podcast on YouTube, and you can listen to us on Spotify and Google Podcast.